We in the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. With Rob. We in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Yeah, I'm in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. Is alone and only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom. Gemstones on your head. Tub with the OG like Flintstones, good in bed. Been living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, dog, you might got something to pray. This type of influence that you ain't gotta filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob. Come let the heat rock simmer.
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of In the Studio with Rob. I am Rob. And like always, with my man Izzo.
Yeah.
What's going on, young fella?
Feeling good, feeling great, sir. How are you?
Hey, all is well.
Lovely.
Hey, man, when we get in the studio, people give us different topics and they want to talk about, and we're going to, this topic is it could be sensitive to some people. Because no one really wants to think of themselves as having a dysfunctional family. But there are reasons for dysfunctional families that spread the gamut. We're not going to try to touch on all the reasons why families are dysfunctional, but I am going to give you hope and let you know that even dysfunctional families can be turned around.
You're so old. Give you a quote.
And then I'll also let you know that I think everybody has a little dysfunction in their family, so you're not alone. I think sometimes we get caught up thinking this is the worst. Everything's the worst when it happens to you or when you go through something. But everybody got a little dysfunction in their family. In fact, that's what makes most of our family, that's what makes them unique for one, but that's also what makes them great in some cases, because some of that dysfunction helps you as you get older. And I think sometimes, like when you get married and you have a wife and kids or a husband and kids, and you start, thinking, oh, things are so bad. I can't believe we're going through this or this is happening. If you go back sometime and think about your family when you was growing up, I'm sure there was probably some dysfunction in that as well. But it also helped make you, either made you stronger. It helped you pay attention to certain things a little bit better. It helps you cope with things a little stronger than some other people. Like, one thing I used to notice when I was a kid is when rich people back in the day, when things went wrong and the stock market dropped and they were losing all their money. Rich people jumping off buildings, killing themselves or whatever. Poor people ain't do that because we was used to not having money. So when they said, hey, it's inflation or it's this, and people start panicking, we was like, they're not in inflation. We can deal with those kind of things. So sometimes that dysfunction, as much as you thought, as much as you would like it to be different, it made us so much better. So what I'm going to do, it kind of, and when I say better, I mean stronger. It gave us an inner strength to cope with different things. So not that, again, I'm not saying we want dysfunctional families. And I just think people in their nature will make things dysfunctional because we're not perfect.
Well, so, what's dysfunction? What do you consider to be?
Well, I mean,
or a dysfunctional family.
I think a dysfunctional family is people that don't work well together, it's like if we're not working as a unit, we are dysfunctional. We don't communicate well. We don't support each other in the right way. We're going to be dysfunctional. And that dysfunction will play out in a lot of different areas. I think a lot of times people will say, well, if you come from a broken home, it's dysfunctional. Not necessarily. Because if mom is not there or if dad is not there, the person that's there is the one that's going to make sure that family, or should be the one to make sure that family is solid. And they don't have to be dysfunctional. They're just not what we call a typical family, meaning they don't have two-parent household, but don't mean they're dysfunctional. So when I'm talking about dysfunctional, I'm talking more about in the way that we build or the way that we conduct ourselves within the family, whatever that family structure would be. And so what I want to start off with, I want to give you a couple of things I think helps make a strong family. And so, here's, just a couple, here's a few things that, to me, if you have some of these things in your family, it will prevent you from being, or not, it would lessen the likelihood that you are dysfunctional to the place where you're falling apart. Not to say that, again, like I said, I think everybody got a little dysfunction in there. That's just human nature. When you put people together or people in something, it's going to have some dysfunction. So, you just figure out how to deal with it the best you can. But if you have these things, it helps you a lot. One is you have to have, to me, and these are mine. These aren't, somebody else can come up with their own if they want to, but for me, first and foremost, if you got God in the center of your family, you have a much better chance of not only not having dysfunction in some way, but being able to deal with things when the dysfunction hits. Because again, I think dysfunction will happen, but you need something that's kind of like the center of your family. That's going to hold mom and dad together. That's going to hold the kids together. That hold all of us accountable. And I think our relationship with God does that. I know that does that for me and my family, is that I know I can't do certain things because God is in the center of my life, in the center of my family. So therefore, I'm going to respond to them in a way, or I'm going to do things that's going to keep me from going too far to the left and messing stuff up. So to me, that's first and foremost. Next, within that, and this is something also that, having a relationship with God will do for you, but you got to have forgiveness in your family. If your family doesn't have forgiveness or doesn't know how to forgive each other, because you're going to fight. That's just what families do. Mom and dad going to get in arguments. Kids going to get in arguments. Mom and dad going to discipline the kids. They ain't going to like it. They going to be mad at mom and dad. In some of y'all households, not mine, kids going to talk back and say what they want to say to mom and dad. But, but that's just part of it. But so when those things happen and those disagreements, those hurts happen in the family, you got to be able to forgive each other. And when you learn to forgive each other, that's going to help you also become a stronger family. Families that have shared responsibilities. Everybody has a role to play in the family. The smallest kid, the youngest one, to mom and dad, everybody has a role to play. And so we need to make sure that everyone understands what their responsibilities are and their role in this family are. So that goes to how we communicate with each other. And so we must have, again, that responsibility, but also that communication to make sure that everybody understands what those responsibilities and roles are. And we also have to have respect. We got to respect each other no matter what. You can't have mom and dad disrespecting each other in private or in front of the family, in front of the kids, and then thinking your family gonna be strong. You gotta have a level of respect where you don't disrespect your husband. You don't disrespect your wife. You don't disrespect your kids. You're gonna have to correct them, but you don't have to disrespect them or make them feel less than themselves, because what you're trying to do is build up strong people. And if you got kids that's all beat down from disrespect, you're not going to have strong people. And ultimately, your family is going to be dysfunctional because everybody's trying to piece back themselves together from the disrespect. So you got to have a respect in the household. Generosity, give to each other, show each other some kindness and love. We have to learn to play with each other in a loving way and not just always be about business. And when I speak to you, I gotta speak kindly to you. Sometimes I think we forget about how important love and kindness is. And so you gotta make sure that's placed in your family. I gotta be kind to, it's one thing to say, I don't disrespect you, but it's another thing to say that I don't speak kindly to you. I don't have any love toward you. You can't have that in a family. You gotta be loving each other and being kind to each other in a family. One of those other things that you need, and this is outside of, just things you do, but education. A family that's educated, and I ain't talking about just going to school and learning, whatever, but you educate each other as well based off of the things that you see, the things you do, things you go through. Like right now, my family gets educated a lot of times from me talking to them about things I've been through, or things that my wife has been through, or things that they've been through. They can talk about it. And so we educating each other. But again, school education, very important, making sure you got, you're intelligent enough to actually communicate some of the stuff you do that you've learned. So, you want to make sure that you got an education, or your family is educated. And then also you got to make sure that you're taking care of your health and your family. Because if your family is not healthy, physically and mentally, there are going to be some issues. Because you're not going to be able to function at your highest level, at your full power, if people are always sick, or if people are mentally drained or depressed and all that. We got to make sure we take care of our families. Don't be afraid to take your kids to the doctor. Don't be afraid, if you need some counseling, to get some counseling for your kids, for your wife, for you, whatever. Make sure your mental health and your physical health is strong, because that's going to keep your family strong. And the last one I'm going to talk about before we get into real communication is, last two. Honesty. Stop lying. You can't keep lying to everybody in the family and think you're going to have a healthy family, a healthy structure. You got to tell the truth. You got to be honest with each other. We can't cheat our family, because those are people that we going to need the most, or we should be counting on the most. So we got to be honest with them. Share when we hurt, share our joy, share when we mess up, and just own it. Like, look, I thought I was doing this. I thought it was going to work out. It didn't work out. My bad. But we're going to fix it. You got to be honest with each other in the family. Because again, outside that door, them people going to hold you accountable at a level that you're going to need your family to support you through it. So, but if your family is like, I don't even know if he's telling the truth about what's going on out there, or I don't know if she even real. Nah, you got to tell the truth. Be honest with your family. And then last one I'm going to talk about, and there's more that you could add, but last one I'm going to talk about is have empathy. Everybody in the family, as much as we know each other and we say, it happened to all of us, everybody feels things differently, experiences things differently. So we need to have empathy for each other. If, as a child, we all go, like me and my sisters went through the same thing. However, how it affected me is different from how it affected them. I can't just put them down and be like, get over it, or, it wasn't that bad. It's your experience. So I'm going to have empathy for what you went through. But I ain't going to make you put that on me. It ain't going to make me feel like you felt. But I'm going to have empathy for what you felt. I understand. And so I think in families, we have to empathize with each other. And let's say, the bills are due and everybody, like you're looking at your wife and she's stressed out, but you're not stressed. And you like, but look, I ain't worried about it. Why you worried about it? Look, that's how she deals with it. Maybe you need to help her deal with it, but have some empathy for the fact that she's stressing and let her know you got it, as opposed to just thinking she should handle it the way you handle it, or vice versa. We got to have empathy for each other. So I think, and I think those are things that, to me, helps control the dysfunction that we will have in our family. Because again, I think every family is going to have some level of dysfunction. And but I think if you put some of those pieces into your family, you're less likely to implode. And so with that, I think you have to understand that, okay, my family is going to be different from your family. So all these families are different, but how we handle situations is really what's going to make us functioning at a high level or dysfunction. And to me, if you put some of those values, some of those things I talked about into your family, you'll be able to face obstacles when they come up, as they come up, in a healthy way and not fall apart. So if you are a dysfunctional family, Izzle, if your family is dysfunctional, not saying your family is dysfunctional,
I feel like you were.
But if your family was dysfunctional, can you come back from dysfunction in your family? And I'll answer that for you because I know you're trying to figure it out because your family.
No, I didn't know you were asking rhetorically.
So
like, I don't know, man.
The answer is yes, you can come back from it, but you got to put in work to do it. I think what happens is people are so quick to quit when things get hard, and really, and I shouldn't say all people, usually it's the parents more so than the kids, because the kids ain't got no choice. We got to struggle through this with these dysfunctional parents.
Everybody be crying over there like, yeah, go to sleep, man. Yeah, try to be the mom.
Yeah, it's that dysfunctional mom and dad. We got to deal with them. But so as kids, we ain't got no choice. But as adults, we have choices. And what we do too many times is when things get hard, we quit. As opposed to showing some empathy, being able to communicate better, making sure we pray together to get the right answers or the right heart for how we deal with each other. And so if you're not as an adult, if you're not putting in the work to change the dysfunction in your family won't change. But if you put in that work, if you decide that, yeah, my family, we got some issues and we got this area of dysfunction. Let's focus on that. Let's work on that area of dysfunction. You can fix anything. You don't have to stay in dysfunction. You stay in dysfunction because, let's say, we got issues. Maybe, and again, we assume that everybody understands the issue. So it's like, we dealing with this issue, but my wife see it as an issue. I don't see it as an issue. However, she getting all, in her feelings and all funky acting and all that good stuff. I don't even know why, because I don't see this the same way she see it. Instead of her communicating with me and letting me know, hey, this is a problem, this is an issue, what she does is she lets it all stay inside and boil up. Then we have a bigger issue, because now I'm pissed that she acting funky. But we never dealt with the issue. As opposed to her just saying, hey, this is an area that I think is dysfunctional in our life, in our marriage, in our family. That's affecting me. It's affecting our kids, and you may not see it. So I need to bring this to your attention so we can deal with it, talk about it, and deal with it. That's how you should handle it, as opposed to getting in your feeling. And then we can fix it, because again, everything you see, whatever person this is in that family, or everything that you experience, everybody else is not going to experience it that way. So you need to be able to communicate what that issue is so that the family can then come together and work on it, on dealing with it. Don't keep it to yourself and say, oh, well, he should know or she should know. No, they shouldn't know. They know what they know. I feel what I feel. I don't feel what you feel. You got to tell me what you feel. You got to tell me what you see, because I can't see through your eyes. I only see through my own. And as close as me and my wife have grown over the years, and we talk about the longer you marry, try to become that oneness where you feel, thinking the same. I could, know when she's hurt. I could know when she wants certain things. I can know certain things.
Each other's sentences.
But I don't know everything. What you say?
So you can finish each other's sentences?
Sometimes. But not all the time. So that means sometimes you're going to have to tell me no matter what. And so and that's after years of putting in work, trying to get there. But for some of y'all like 2-3 years in, 4 years in, talking about, well, she think I should read her mind. No, you shouldn't read her mind. And no, she shouldn't think you should read her mind. Or vice versa. You don't know what you don't know. I need to tell you what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing, so that we can work on it together. That's what a well-oiled machine does. Look, I'm putting in work here. All right. Like when I was working and we had working on a project, building programs, different things. Okay, so I can lay out, this is what I want to happen. And we got everybody working in their own silo, so to speak, to make the one thing happen, the one big thing happen. So everybody, you got your IT people doing their thing. You got, your trainers doing their thing. You got the people that's going to do the operations doing their thing. However, if something is going wrong in training, it's going to affect the operations. And it may even affect what we put out in the computer, on the computer systems. However, if training doesn't tell us that they have a problem when they see it, we just going to do what they train us to do. Or if operations doesn't say, hey, we delivering this stuff, but it's not hitting right, and they don't tell training is going to continue to do the same thing. And again, we're going to continue putting out bad information. We got to be able to communicate across the line so that everybody is looking or sounding like one and putting out the best product. Same thing in your family. Husbands, you got to communicate what you see, what you feel, what you hear in your family, to your wife, to your children, so that they understand, one, what the vision is, but they also understand when there's a problem from your vantage point. Wife, you got to do the same thing. When you see something that may be affecting the kids that's in a negative way, or maybe affecting you in a negative way, or may even be affecting the husband in a negative way, you got to point those things out so that they can be fixed. Don't sit on it. Don't get in your feelings, because if we're a family, we're not trying to hurt each other. We're trying to build each other up and be the best we can be. So we working on this thing, trying to be the best, but we need everybody to input information so that we can continue to grow as a family. So what are we doing? Communicating. Let's talk about these things. And when it's communicated, let's absorb the information, have empathy for who's saying it and what they're saying, respect how they say it, and then be honest with how we're going to fix it. All those things, again, we're talking about fixing your dysfunctional family or your dysfunction in your family. It starts with us talking about it. Don't just keep it in. And again, sometimes you need to go get some outside help. You may not be able to fix it by yourself or within the family. Sometimes you may have to get some help from somebody else. For you have people when you grow up, and parents that what happens in this house stays in this house. I agree with that to an extent. You don't need to tell everybody your business because everybody ain't trying to help you. So to a certain extent, that's true. But that doesn't mean that we don't get help when we need help. It doesn't mean we don't go talk to the right people to get the right information to help us fix our in-house problems. Again, we do this on every job. If there's a problem and things are going wrong, they'll call somebody in. They'll say, hey, we need y'all, an independent eye, to come in and look at our process and see what the problem is. See where we're dropping the ball. So you have people that do that all the time. So why don't you do it with your family? Call in an independent person, but a person that cares about your family, Care about your husband, care about your wife, care about your kid. Not somebody that's just like you. You know, too many times it's like you go talk to your girlfriend. Your girlfriend is your girlfriend first and foremost. And then she might like your husband because of you. But she gonna say what's best for you. Your homie's gonna say what's best for you first, because that's your dude. And he like, yeah, man, you know, your wife is cool, but he looking out for you first. Not to say that, but you want somebody that's gonna say, okay, I care about all of y'all equally, and so that we can help, so I can help you grow as a family.
Why would I ever want to ask somebody who's not about to agree with me? What kind of inefficient conversations do you think I need to be having?
See, and that's that goes to a person. Like I said, I look at things a lot of times from programs and you know, businesses, you know, things, different things that I've built in the business, you know, and I know for a fact I need that independent person that do not care what I think, but they gonna look at the process open-minded and say, hey, the reason why you know leaking oil is because right there, that you got a pinhole right there that y'all missing. Y'all ain't seeing this pinhole because y'all in the middle of it. I needed them to come in and do that. I need somebody to come and do that for my family. If my family is not functioning at a high level and we can't figure out how to fix it, or we can't figure out what the problem is, I need somebody to be able to come in and tell me or show us where we falling short. It may be something as simple as the reason why your family don't function at the highest level is because y'all don't communicate well. And you're like, well, we talk all the time. I didn't say y'all didn't talk. I say y'all don't communicate well. Meaning you're talking, but nobody understands what the other people saying. Y'all not communicating with each other. Y'all just talking. Or they may say, y'all don't spend enough time building each other up, talking about how great each other are. Y'all just talk about the issues and things that's going on in your life, but you never build each other up. Or you never pray, and you're wondering why everybody so hectic in the family and so out of control with their emotions, or have no center. You need somebody sometimes that's come in and see, listen to you both, listen to all of you, the family talk, and then make it a objective opinion of, hey, this is what I'm seeing or hearing from y'all. You need that sometime. Like I said, but you gotta be careful who you get though. Like I said, you're not going, don't call your best friend in. My best friend is my best friend. He may like my wife, he may like my kids, but he my best friend. And I will say that the dudes that I consider a really close friend, they probably more likely tell me I'm screwed up than anything else anyway. So that's cool.
See, and those are the type of people I don't want around me.
Yes.
Like don't be telling me I'm wrong. What are you doing?
Yeah, because you're perfect, and that's what we established a long time ago.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So for you, none of this really worked, even though you know.
I was thinking, I was sitting there, I was like, wow, this doesn't really apply to me. Yeah. But I was gonna let you go.
Right.
It applies to somebody.
Yeah, we talking about people with that we have with issues.
Any type
of issue, it could dysfunction in a family, which you could never have because you perfect.
I do
even
not
though
qualify.
I got a question for you. If you perfect,
are you the people?
No.
Not the people.
No.
Oh.
People.
Oh.
But I do have a question for you.
Sure, we can just
all right.
Be weird.
So if you are perfect, not if, because you are perfect.
Okay. Yep.
How does that affect the people in your family?
I would imagine it's a little difficult for them. I mean, who wants that pressure?
Yeah.
You know, knowing whenever you have an issue, it's your fault.
Right.
Like, because it can't possibly be me.
Right.
So the only logical, and I'm gonna tell you, of course, because facts are facts. So I'm gonna tell you, like, it's your fault. Right. I'm not. Before you finish that sentence, hey, let me stop you there. You sound like you have a concern. I can solve that for you. It's on you. Like, look in the mirror. Maybe come back. We can talk about it. I'll probably agree with whatever you think your assessment of yourself is, and why we are in this situation. Why you thought to involve me in this situation with you, which is clearly only about you. Maybe somebody else in the house, but definitely
could be
100% not me.
Right.
And so I feel like maybe people have trouble.
Yeah, I agree
with that.
And see, so that's why I want people to understand. There's only one person that walked this earth that was perfect. He was Jesus. Mm-hmm. But then later on, there's another one.
Yeah, only one. Definitely still only one person at a time.
Yeah.
But
at a time.
And exactly. Okay. Exactly.
But so for all the rest of us, that's not Jesus and not Israel.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. There will be issues, there will be dysfunctions. We will not operate effectively. So therefore, you need people, you need a person, you need someone independent to tell you, you smell a little bit.
That could be me. I'm usually good at seeing people's faults.
Yeah. You probably can't see other people's faults.
Yeah, 100%.
So if y'all need somebody to help you with your relationship, Israel might be the person for you.
Drop it in the comments.
If there's a problem with Israel's relationship, now that's a whole other issue.
That's again easy fix. He's
gonna fix it because it's their fault. It's the wife and kids, never him. But for everybody else, like I said, don't be afraid to look for that independent voice. I said this a long time ago about relationships, and I said, about mentoring, different things. You should have a person that you mentor. You should be mentored, and then you should have also that horizontal relationship, meaning with peers. But you should have somebody that's going to look down and be able to speak to you and give you advice. A lot of times, if you got a dad, a mom, sometimes they can do it. Sometimes you need somebody else. But then you also should be passing that down to somebody younger, not just your kids, but just some young person that's coming up and, like, let's say you in your 30s and you helping somebody in their 20s to navigate that. That's the same thing in families. You need a family. You need a family structure that. You got a wife and kids at a certain age. You got friends at that same in that same range, but you also can share what you've learned with somebody younger, and then you also have somebody older imparting into your family. So don't be afraid to get that. So I hope you guys got something out of this. If you can get nothing else, just make sure you take away that. You got to make sure you come up with some values, some certain things in your life that's going to help structure your family in a positive way. And dysfunction happens in every family, but it doesn't mean you have to be dysfunctional. And you can get out of it, but you got to work on it. So if you do those things and you keep working and keep trying, your family can improve. Don't just give up because it's hard. Because when you give up on, and again, only the parents giving up because kids can't get no choice. But when you give up as parents, a lot of times you're giving up on your kids because they don't get an opportunity to see how that struggle turns into the beauty. So, don't be quick to give up on things. Get the help you need. So with that, Izzo.
Yes, sir.
Come back at you, Mr. Perfect. Anything we got? You got anything for the people?
I gotta say, I don't like the way you say mentor.
Well, I say mentor? Why?
I say mentor, and I don't know who's wrong or right. I just don't like the way you say it. You say, you mentor and you mentor people.
And you say what?
Mentor. Mentor.
And I say?
You say mentor.
Mentor, and you say mentor. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Since
you perfect, it's probably the way you said it.
Maybe, but maybe not. Who cares?
Yeah.
I just don't like. You can say it another way. It doesn't even have to be my way. The way that I say it. I don't like your way of saying it.
Okay. And so since I don't really care what you like, we're gonna keep moving. And so what else you got?
Can we go with mentor?
We can go with a lot of things.
regarding this, I do think patience is key.
Patience
is key, 100%. Because I guess a lot of times you start to feel like every problem is the end of the world.
Oh yeah.
The biggest thing in the world, and if you can keep it in perspective and you know what I mean, kind of just be a little more even keeled. Not to say you're not gonna get emotional or stuff can't be an argument or a fight, whatever.
Right.
But so when you keep it in perspective, you can kind of glide to the next issue.
I totally agree with you. Everything is not gonna cause the end of the family, end of the marriage, everything don't end because something happens. Things happen. That's just life. Things will happen. So you deal with what happened, you deal with it, and then you move on. That's all. It ain't that deep. I mean, I agree. Some people go overboard with their emotions all the time. It's like every little thing is like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to me. It'll pass. It will. And then you look back a day later and be like, it's funny. If we could actually video our life, just our daily life sometime, and then look back at it, and then people will see how retarded they act sometimes. And it's like, yo, why are you acting like a nut? Look at this. Look how you acted right here. And they'll be probably covering their eyes and I can't even believe I did that. Yeah, because you get a chance to see yourself. But we don't really get that. We get that playback, and even when we play it back in our head, we try to make ourselves look better than what it really was. But if you had a video running in your house and people play them things back, they'd be really ashamed of how they responded to certain things. Like, oh, it's just, I can't believe how we're gonna get through this. And then a day later, you play it back, and it's like, yo, we made it through that in like 2 hours after you did this. But look how you was acting. And so, but yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, nice. You gotta let things go and move on. Patience. As long as you're dealing with something, you got to understand that it's going to pass. You're going to have a new problem very soon. So don't be caught up on the one you're in right now too much. You better just deal with that one and get ready for the next one. That's life. So with that, Izzo.
Yes, sir.
What we got to do before we get out of here?
If you have a smartphone, maybe.
They should. Most people do nowadays.
Pick up that phone.
They should pick it up.
When you pick up that phone,
right?
Unlock it. Maybe you got a Face ID on that joint.
Could be.
Unlock that phone with your face. When you get into it, go to the calls.
Go to it.
Go to the text messages.
Go to that too.
Go to the emails.
Those two.
Hit a friend.
Hit them up.
Tell that friend to watch this podcast.
Tell them.
Tell that friend to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Then tell that friend to tell another friend.
There you go. It's simple.
That friend should be instructed to tell another friend.
It ain't hard to do.
And so on.
And so on.
And so on.
And so on.
Insert another friend.
Until another friend.
Until all friends are told.
All of them. That's all we want you to do.
That's all. That's it. It doesn't seem that difficult. Right. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward to me.
I'm telling you, you tell a friend and they tell a friend and they tell a friend and all those friends get told, you'll all be getting good information. That's all we doing.
And that's consistency because everybody's getting the same information.
Right. Not the bad stuff y'all see all over the place. You getting some quality information that we share with you because we care. And you get to hear the perfection of Izzo coming through the mic as well.
That's important. I was going to leave that out.
I was not going to leave out your perfection.
Look, I wouldn't expect you to. I probably would have been a little hurt if you had.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what? You know that. And that speaks to your empathy, sir.
That's my empathy. I know. So with that,
that's why
we're going to bounce now. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get up out of here. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Till next time, we're going to bounce.
And as always, remember, he is Rob. I just look like him. Bye.
Studio. We in the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. With Rob. We in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Catch a vibe.
Yeah, I'm
in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. Is alone and only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom. Gemstones on your head top. With the OG like Flintstones, good in bed. Been living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, dog, you might got something to pray. This type of influence that you ain't gotta filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob, gon' let the heat rock simmer.